Are you ready? Start!
It is 7:45 p.m. on Wednesday, March 29th, 2017, and you are listening to episode 41 of Oh No Anime, the podcast. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. You might have known that already if you've listened to us before. And sitting next to me is my life partner and partner in crime in this whole anime commentary bullshit business. Hello, Patrick.
So,
welcome to Oh No Anime, the podcast. You'll notice that I actually kind of didn't psych myself out for once with the intro and sounded pretty good. This is my radio voice because, of course, podcasting is just the next iteration of radio. Patrick, your thoughts?
True.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're a little bit loosey-goosey this time. A little bit of that is my fault because normally around this time of year, we'd be doing the Anime Awards show. And a few weeks ago, I went to Mark and I was like, hey, Mark, I'm not going to lie. I'm really far behind on anime and don't feel like finishing the majority of them. You know, real life kind of hit me. I went to Japan, fell behind there. And video games have been really good. So we decided to just not do that.
Real life has kind of hit both of us pretty hard. Mostly due to the fact that if you...
Not that anime isn't real life.
Yeah. It's
more real.
If you follow the gaming community at all, you will know that the beginning of 2017 has been fucking lit.
Yeah, March especially. Holy shit.
Yeah, I've been consistently behind on anime this season simply because I've been playing so many video games.
Same.
But we will get into that in a second. But yeah, as you said, we're taking a little bit more loosey-goosey, and I think that is how we're going to try to do it from now on the podcast. I'm starting to like the idea more of a more free-form format, less pre-pro, as some would say. Like, just kind of taking it easy, shooting the shit, talking about kind of whatever, letting this be our...
Let us talk about things that are like exciting to talk about rather than forcing ourselves to talk about what we feel like should be talked about.
Yeah.
I guess.
I feel like there's a lot of crossover with that too.
Yeah.
And thankfully.
We're going to be a little, I don't know, nice to ourselves here, but we both feel that our YouTube content, the one-off things, are really good and we enjoy doing them. So I'm not going to say that's like the main thing or anything.
And also just like in a pure numbers game, these podcasts don't do anywhere near as well as our short form content.
Nope.
Now, that's not to say that those of you listening to our audio feed on iTunes, we get great numbers on there for people who are as little known as we are, especially recently. So we're not trying to discount that with you guys. And I think this might actually contribute to motivation for us to do this more.
Yeah.
Probably shorter episodes, but
it's easier. It's easier when you just talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So, that being said, Patrick, how has life been since the last time that we recorded? I'm trying to think what the last episode that we did was.
The last sit-down episode we did might have been, was it right back when
it was
I came back from Japan?
410s because you made that horrific joke.
I made that joke. 4chan made that joke in 2006.
You remade it.
I did. It was definitely 410s, and I think it was just kind of like a season halfway catch up. And I know I talked about Japan a lot, which means it was probably early February.
Yeah.
Lots of things have happened that don't matter for the podcast, but gaming has been really good for me in my life. I always flip back and forth between either playing a lot of games, normally MMOs for me, to be honest, or watching a lot of anime, hardly both at the same time. And this last month especially has been a lot of games. Nier has nearly dominated my life. It's really good.
It's kind of crazy because the games that we both have been playing, we've covered every good game that's come out.
Yeah, between the two
of us, and have very little overlap.
So now we trade games and do it again. I did play a bit of Horizon and Breath of the Wild, but I had to put them away because those all came out within a week. And for somebody like me that normally doesn't play
massive open world games.
Yeah, and so is Nier. So I just I prioritized and I said, you know what, I really like Yoko Taro and I love what he does, so I'm going to do Nier first. And Nier turned out to be so much more than what I thought it was going to be, because I wanted to play Nier because I love the hack and slash genre and I love Platinum games, and they do really good, and I got a lot more than I bargained for. Not that the hack and slash and like general gameplay of that game is bad, far from it, but the way you play it, you pretty quickly, just become accustomed to the battles, and they're never really difficult. You over level them and stuff. But it was I can easily say the most emotionally impactful game I have ever played, like bar none.
That's a big statement.
I don't want to spoil anything because I know you're eventually going to get to it, but
yeah,
I cried a lot during that game.
I've been thinking a lot about Nier recently because that's like kind of my number. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it, and that's my number one game that I haven't played yet. And I think it actually would probably serve me really well to not play it for a while.
Think so?
Because honestly, it's at the point now where I just want everyone to shut the fuck up about telling me to play Nier. And I know that if I play it now, the hype will affect like the way that I perceive it. So I think I'm going to give it like another month.
Yeah.
Let some more good games come out, because we got like Persona 5 is coming out.
Yeah. The Kingdom Hearts bundle comes out this week.
So I'm going to let that stew a little bit. I'm going to try to finish Mass Effect Andromeda, which I'll get to in a second because I've been playing that as well. And try to, just let it simmer a little bit and try to come to it with
I'm excited for you to eventually
a clear head. Yeah, because I love me a Platinum game.
Yeah.
I love me some Yoko Taro.
He is a sick fuck.
Yeah, I'm very glad that Platinum's A-Team has put out another thing.
It's a hell of a game, man.
The last game that I played of theirs was Metal Gear Rising, and this game looks to have a lot of similar elements to the swordplay.
I didn't play that, but it does feel.
It looks less challenging.
It feels similar to Bayonetta, honestly. The way you play and the way you dodge and stuff like that. It's very, very. I almost said jerky, but not really that. More like reaction intensive gameplay, but with RPG elements.
Yeah, that was a lot of. I mean, I'm pretty sure that all three of these games are very similar because they're made on like the same engine by the same people. But, just the whole like character action swordplay game, there's definitely a lot to that. Yeah. I have a feeling, given what I've heard about Nier's combat, that it's probably going to be a lot less hard than Metal Gear Rising was. Because Metal Gear Rising was fucking punishing.
I died like
not
maybe
to
twice.
Use a Metal Gear pun.
Nice. But yeah, I think I died like twice playing on normal. Yeah. And both times were because I got distracted by something else.
Well, it seems to me that the thing that everyone is raving about is definitely the story. Like the story, I know the gameplay is probably fun, but
like the story to begin with is super interesting. Humanity almost being dead, sending androids to go kill machines on Earth. Pretty cool to begin with, but the places they go with it are Yoko Taro, because you can tell it's his brainchild. Not to take away from the rest of the team. I'm sure everybody helped a lot, but the way he does things that you can only do in a video game, especially as you get closer to the end, is really awesome. He subtly plays with gender norms in that the machines and androids don't have assigned genders or anything, but they clearly identify themselves, and you can get really deep into that. And like the way some enemies are named, some will be named after like a famous author that wrote about this stuff, which kind of, if you know about the author, it frames it in such a way that you have to think a bit deeper about it. And there's a lot of that. I know I missed a ton of it. Like right now, my favorite thing in life is Nier, and my second favorite thing is reading other people's thoughts about Nier.
True. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts about Nier.
Yeah, it's a game that makes you think. It's going to be a while before it leaves my head. That's for damn sure.
Well, the last game that I beat was a game called Horizon Zero Dawn.
I played like the first maybe 8 or 9 hours of that and then put it down for Nier, and I'm going to pick it back up real soon.
Yeah. It's it is definitely one of the best open world games I have ever played.
I understand that a lot of CD Projekt Red from the Witcher team came over and helped it.
It's got some similarities, honestly. I loved The Witcher 3. It was probably one of my favorite games of, I want to say 2015?
I think it was 15, and then the expansion came out.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite games of 2015. I played the shit out of that game. I probably put like 120, 130 hours into it, which is like, that's asking a lot for me to put into a game nowadays. But this is, I would say that this is probably just more well put together than I
actually haven't played any of the Witcher games because I suck.
It's you actually do kind of have to be pretty good to play the Witcher. You would get.
I meant as a person, I suck.
Oh no! I mean, it's okay. It really is okay.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate
It's okay. It's okay that you haven't played the first 2 Witchers. I don't know if I'm prepared to say that it's okay that you haven't.
How would you feel about me as a person if I just never played a game and then picked up the like standalone Gwent that they're doing?
I mean, whatever.
Would that make me a shitty person?
Whatever. There are people out there that have not played a single Blizzard game that isn't Hearthstone. I don't know what type of horrific human garbage piles those people are, but they exist.
Yeah, that StarCraft HD version though.
We'll
get there.
We'll get there.
Back to Horizon.
That should go in like I have a couple news things I want to bring up, but yeah, that's so Horizon is really awesome. It gives me a warm fuzzy feeling inside every time I think about it because the studio is made by Guerrilla Games, and people that don't know who they are, they made the Killzone series. And people that don't know what the Killzone series is, it is probably one of the most tragic.
Yeah.
They
all should have been amazing.
Here's the thing. Killzone 1 and 3. Here's the Killzone series to me. Killzone 1 was an incredibly ambitious title that was just too ambitious for its hardware.
Halo
PS2.
killer.
It was supposed to be a Halo killer. It was branded as such, and people legitimately thought it, and then people played it and were like, what the fuck are you talking about? This game is not a Halo killer. I like it just because of it is probably one of the most realistic console shooters I've ever played. Just like the sense of movement and how inertial everything is really an amazing accomplishment for something that came out on the fucking PS2, which is like, when you think of first-person shooters on the PS2,
you don't think of first-person shooters?
Yeah, you don't. Like, you just don't.
Like SOCOM. That's about it.
But that wasn't a first-person shooter. That was a third-person shooter.
Was it third?
Yeah.
Shit.
So there you go. Basically, like Medal of Honor games. And Call of Duty, I guess, probably came out on the PS2. Anyway, so the series did put out one good game, and that was Killzone 2. Killzone 2 was fucking great. I don't care what anyone says. It had a great cover system for a first-person shooter, which was crazy. It took actually what I thought to be somewhat good advantage of the 6-axis motion controls on the PS3. Killzone 3 was a steaming hot pile of garbage that looked really great.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, and then Killzone Shadowfall was a launch title for PS4 and was, I thought, pretty mediocre, but also still is probably one of the best-looking games on PS4. And that is basically you want to know an insane fact? Do you remember that game Shell Shock Nam 67?
Unfortunately,
they fucking made that game. That was their first game.
No shit.
It was published by Eidos.
Some Lost Vikings shit.
This is like before they were bought by Sony. But I have been playing Killzone and legitimately enjoying playing Killzone because I am a filthy PlayStation fanboy. And while I am also one of the biggest Halo fans you will ever fucking meet in your entire life, I have a very soft spot in my heart for Killzone because they really tried. And Guerrilla is a great, scrappy studio who deserves success.
That's the thing. I never hated Killzone, so I was really happy to hear that they're doing a new IP. Yeah. It's pretty much Turok with a female lead.
Yeah, but that's what it
That's
what you're led to believe. But
that's what it looked like.
It is so much more. I will say the only things I have to say about Horizon is that it is definitely the best looking PS4 game, period.
Easy. None.
Especially if you're playing it on a Pro on a 4K TV. It is it's mind blowing. It is legitimately confusing sometimes as to what you're looking at. In a good way. The gameplay is the best bow and arrow gameplay I've ever played in any video game. The story,
all bow and arrow too.
The story is amazing in the way that it puts you in two different time periods almost simultaneously. You don't ever go back in time. You don't ever play as anyone else other than Aloy, the main character.
The whole thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is you kind of discover what the old world was like by progressing through. Yeah, and the
way that you discover it is most immersive.
Yeah.
Flashback system I have ever seen in a video game. And it's nothing revolutionary, but just the way that they tell the story through these flashbacks. Arguably, the story that happened before the game even starts is more compelling than what is happening as the
I can see that because the world is super cool. You have a world where giant robots that look like dinosaurs exist, and you have these crazy ass religions. Of course, the world that came before is going to be pretty fucking interesting.
And they lead you down this road. And you think you know what happened, and then when they drop it on you, you're like, this is...
I can't wait.
It takes the post-apocalypse model so much further than any game you've ever played, which is the coolest part about it to me. And
I'm excited to get that because I love ridiculous sci-fi like that.
Yeah.
Like I love things where it's technically sci-fi, but it's in like a medieval or prehistoric setting.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
it's
like
a really cool dichotomy.
This is like, very like tribal.
Yeah.
The way that they have like manifested that in this world of machines is really cool because they have a lot of these different, like very common tribal practices on Earth. Like, people making clothing and weapons and armor out of animal hides and stuff. Only in this game, they're made out of like new age
Robot
plastics.
hides. Yeah.
And like the string on a bow is like a cable. And you like literally, I don't know what you're an IT guy, so you probably could tell me. The components and computers that are basically like cables, but they're like weird flat wafer thin.
Ribbon? Yeah, we don't use IDE ribbons anymore.
Ornate bows that are made out of like computer
IDE
ribbon
cables. That's awesome.
It's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, there's like one guy who's like one of the main characters in the game, and you know how like some tribal cultures will like sew stuff into their skin.
Yeah.
He has that, but with like translucent blue cabling, like all up and down his arm.
I need to get back into this game like post-haste.
Dude, it's so fucking cool. And like the factions are so awesome, and like the way that you can see like where they have come from in this world, and like what type of machines that are in their area have affected like what clothing they have and armor, and their culture is so cool.
I'm kind of glad I've waited because there's a lot of side quests in that game, and like I said, I played for about 8 or 9 hours.
You don't want to be feeling rushed.
Exactly. I was trying to rush because I had Breath of the Wild and I had Nier as well, but I playing through Nier and enjoying like all the side quests, I think I finished with like 80%. It's so much better to not rush.
Yeah, no.
Even if I have a ton of games, I just need to make them last for, I don't know, the rest of the year.
Yeah. And that was the last game I beat. Now I'm playing, I'm like 40, maybe even 45 hours into Mass Effect Andromeda, and that game has been talked about enough. I don't want to put you guys through that. I will say
Let's
that
talk about the animations, Mark. People aren't talking about those.
Yeah, people aren't really touching on those ever.
No.
I will just suffice to say that I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and just kind of treating this as like Mass Effect Gaiden. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's like someone said it best on a podcast I was listening to today. This is the direct-to-video fourth sequel of Mass Effect, and I'm treating it as such and having a lot of fun.
I'm from an outsider perspective here because I'm not a Mass Effect fan. I haven't played any of them. I realize I probably should at some point, but you say direct-to-video, but what was the budget and time for this? Wasn't it like
5 years, $40 million?
That's a lot for direct to.
Yeah. It's whatever. I mean, it's
as long as, honestly, for video games, as long as you, the player, are enjoying it, who gives a fuck what critics say?
There's a lot of problems, and there is. I've luckily been able to minimize the amount of problems that have actually gotten in the way of my enjoyment of the game. All I will say is that I certainly hope that they are working hard on a big patch for this game soon. I understand that game development takes a lot of work, but I also I like that the heads of BioWare have come out and said that they're like considering animation fixes for some of the more pivotal. Yeah, because like you can tell that there were certain parts of the game that are worked harder on than others, or like had more time than others. And I will say is like as I've gone through the game, it has gotten like slightly better and better, but man, I played a mission last night that was just one of the ugliest things I have ever beheld in a video game. Like it was truly unbelievable to me. Like, and some of the bugs that I've seen are like,
it seemed like they just lacked some QC on it as well.
I don't want to say shocking, but like it was like,
so how could you let this go to disc?
Like there was and also, like, some of the design decisions are really puzzling. Like, in every Mass Effect game, you've had access to a galaxy map in your ship where you basically get to choose, like, which planet you go to.
Yeah.
And that basically consists of, like, literally the galaxy with a bunch of circles that delineate planets or systems that you can travel to. And there's a galaxy level, there's a system level, and then there's a planet level. Every time you switch systems or planets or anything, there is an unskippable 15-second animation of your ship flying from one
I
section
did notice
to the
that
other.
in the Donkey video.
It's crazy.
Hang on. What was Donkey's video named? I already
Mass
forgot.
Effect.
Mass Effect. That was good.
It is. I mean,
It's a
I
mess.
don't. I hesitate to call it a mess because that has not been my own personal experience. However, it is one of the sloppiest AAA games that
you can entertain that viewpoint.
It is the sloppiest AAA game to come out in 2017, and I feel bad for the people that worked on this game, because I feel like people really did work hard on it and they tried. But unfortunately, sometimes you aim and you miss the mark.
That's Komodo Friends in a nutshell.
And they miss the mark on a lot of things. However, I will say that I am enjoying the new characters.
Ryder seems cool.
My Ryder is cool. I mean, I don't know about anyone else's, but you really that's the one thing. The biggest difference between Shepard, the original main character, and Ryder is that Shepard, you had to try to make him not cool or her not cool. Ryder, you have to literally like balance a plate on the end of of a stick with every conversation and not make her sound like a narcissistic fuck. Like literally, like
that's a bummer.
It's like I've managed to do it, but it's made me play. It's pushed me towards responses that I wouldn't normally have had, which actually maybe like is good. Like honestly, like it's pushed
for a game
me
like that. I want to do the responses I want to do.
It's pushed me towards more official and more pragmatic and less emotional and less personal. Which actually has been a pretty interesting role playing experience for me, because like obviously those games are all about like how do you play the main character. But it's been an interesting role-playing experience for me because I'm trying to be like as official with people that I don't know as possible, and then is just like absolutely snarky, bullshitty with basically everyone that I do know, with exceptions. Like the one good thing I can say about interactions is that when you want Ryder to be just the biggest little shit, you can totally make it happen. Like when I run into people in positions of power that I don't like, which is like a problem that I have in real life, just like kind of mouthing off when I've had either had one too many or just had too many hard knocks. I've definitely done it in the game, and it has blown up in my face, and appropriately so.
At least they got that down.
Yeah. Combat's fine too. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's fun.
How does the multiplayer work? I had no idea there was multiplayer until I saw friends streaming it.
Multiplayer is basically the same exact thing as Mass Effect 3. It's 4-player co-op. It's horde mode.
It's horde mode. Okay.
It's horde mode with a lot more like stipulations. Like basically every other wave will have some sort of objective for you to cover.
Does that affect like your stats? Can you level up in that and go back and play the main game, or is it like completely separate?
So you play as like nameless classed characters of different races in the multiplayer. I think there's like 30 different characters that you can play. It's like male, female of every race, and then each specification, like soldier, vanguard, engineer, whatever. Like each class, there's like 8 or 9 classes. They each have a specific race that's tied to them. So it's like like if you're playing an engineer, you're going to be playing as like one alien and but the multiplayer does affect your single player campaign in the sense that you have these things called strike team missions where they're basically like the thing, and that's like for some fucking reason really popular in games now, where you can like hire people to like go out on like little missions that will give you rewards. Basically, it doesn't add any fucking thing to the game at all. I don't really understand why they did it, but basically, so there are certain missions on that list every time you go to that console that you can be like, do you want to play this on, like, do you want your Apex team to go out? And your Apex team is basically like your multiplayer thing. So you basically can be like, yes, and then switch over to multiplayer, play that, go back to the main game, and collect your rewards. Right. So there's that. Yeah, it is literally the same thing as Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 had this exact same system. Like it was...
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, no, Mass Effect 3's multiplayer is fucking amazing. I loved it.
That's good.
I played the living shit out of it after Mass Effect 3 came out. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm enjoying that game. Definitely not as much as I could have, but I'm also like way warmer on that game than most people. And I don't know. Like I'm a real big fan of
That's us here at Ono Anime taking the positive outlook.
Yeah. Like I'm a real big fan of like the grind and like just fucking cranking shit out. Like give me all your mundane fetch quest bullshit so I can like throw on a podcast in the background and just waste time.
Have you ever played any Korean MMOs?
Well, Patrick, not yet.
There's a limit.
It can happen. Anyway, so
Maple Story, where are you?
I wanna say something. I want to get something off my chest.
Should I be scared?
No.
Oh, okay.
The Apple Podcast app sucks.
I wouldn't know. I switched to Pixel.
It's fucking awful.
What's bad about it? I never had any problems.
Dude, I don't know what's happening. Okay, so I get it. I've noticed it more recently, but like this is a thing that like I always have problems with. I don't understand. Every once in a while, like 30 episodes of the same podcast will just show up in my feed unlistened to, and they're all ones that I've listened to, and I will have to go through.
Sounds like an
and
RSS
fucking
issue. That is
manually deselect every single one.
That sucks. I was only ever subscribed to like 5, so I never had that issue. But
today I was listening to a podcast and it stopped playing. Stopped playing. I tried to restart it. Did the thing which I seem to have to do all the time because for some reason nowadays the podcast app, I think it's because I'm not downloading the episodes anymore, and
you just stream it.
Yeah, I just stream it because I have unlimited data, so I just do it. And I press play, 5 seconds of silence, and it jumps back to 0 because it's loaded. It's the same thing that Spotify does. Spotify does the same thing, which is fucking annoying because what I have to do to solve that is I have to press pause and then press play again, and then it just goes no problem.
So it's like watching YouTube in like 2009.
Yeah,
Wait for that buffer.
Yeah. Today I was listening to this podcast and it did that like in the middle of the podcast, which it never usually does. So I do the start stop thing a couple times. It then marks that episode as read, takes it right off my feed, and I have to go into the podcast page and dig it up.
While you're driving, right?
While I'm driving.
Yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't be admitting that on whatever.
Yeah, nobody
I was in
listens.
traffic. I was stopped. But yeah, I mean,
that sucks.
it basically just like, it was like, nope, you're done with this. There's like an hour left. You're going to miss anything. Take this away.
Doesn't matter.
So I'm hoping those of you listening to this on our RSS feed don't have those sorts of problems with the Apple Podcast app. Also, like, why the fuck have they not pushed an update for that thing? That thing, I don't think an official Apple app has had an update for me in like a year.
I know they update it when like iOS updates. That might be why.
Yeah, maybe I need to get an iOS update. But like, I don't know, like why it never
scary.
used to do this shit, and then
As somebody in IT, iOS updates terrify me.
Yeah, they're bad.
Can I talk about an awesome app though?
Yes.
So
shit.
Yeah.
Get into
So
that.
probably about a week ago, we actually got some awesome news. It was last Friday, and then now that I think about it, that's why I was in such a stupidly good mood. Somehow, I don't know how, we wound up on the Lantis PR list. So I wake up with an email from Lantis, which for those of you who don't know is a major, if not like the biggest Japanese music label, saying, hey, we just released a new subscription-based music app in Japan called Aniuta, which is Aniuta. But I don't know why it's like, doesn't matter.
So
the name's silly.
It's basically the thing that we both have been wanting for a long time. It's the Spotify of Anisong.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And now that I'm on Android, it made it super easy because I just switch on a VPN and open up the Japanese Google Play Store, and I can use a US card. So I was like, shit, yeah, the American version is coming, but why not try the Japanese one?
And that's the most important piece of news is that they have like literally come out and said day one, hey, we're working on a Western version, just like. And I think,
me and Mark are expecting them to announce more about it at Anime Expo because Lantis is there in a big way. Either that or Otakon because they're doing that as well.
I think it would just be fucking awesome if they just like went on stage at the Anime Consortium Japan panel and were just like, guess what? Aniuta drops now.
That'd be so cool.
I would fucking die. I would sign up right there.
As far as the app itself is concerned, it's 600 yen, which comes out right now to about $5. Like I think the Google translation of the price was like $5, 2 cents a month.
Yeah.
And they have, I want to say it's 30 labels on it. And I've only searched for like 2 or 3 different anime that have stumped the thing because there's so many labels. You can find stuff going back to the 80s. I was listening to the Fists of the North Star soundtrack this morning.
The thing to me that is so exciting is that, I my biggest issue with anime music is that, there is no reasonable way to acquire like most anime music in the States
there's not
legally. So, I have to like literally manually download like whatever music I like from the past season and then manually put it on my phone, which Like, fuck that shit.
It's
like,
a pain in the ass.
can
It's 2017.
So this is going to change my life. Like, it's going to completely eliminate, for the most part, my need to do that. And the best thing about it is that, it seems to me this service is very focused on the current.
It's for anime fans. Like right now, I'm looking at it. They have curated playlists. Like they have a pickup singles,
which is fucking great.
It changes like every other day. Like looking up the pickup single list.
I was thinking about like having like a Discover Weekly, like Spotify has, but music. For anime music is so like, fucking
here we go.
Cool.
Just the top 3 right now are the opening for one of the fucking Index movies. We've got a Chain Chronicle opening, and we've got a Macross song, and that's pick up like just single tracks. They have pick up albums. They have one of the coolest things I've seen is because Atlantis also throws the Anisama and Animello lives. They put together the playlist from that, so I can click on the Animello button and be like, I want to listen to whatever songs were played at Animello 2014.
Nice.
That's cool. They've got like a currently airing thing that's going on. They've got a Love Live set, a Macross set. It's a really good app for anime music. I haven't opened up any other like music app since I got it, and it's going to be a while before I go back to doing that. It's pretty great.
Really hoping that the library in Japan is every bit as extensive as what we're going to get, or at least somewhat.
Yeah,
although with
I'm feeling good about it.
With Atlantis on board, we can at least rely on them to have all of their current stuff.
They're going to have Love Live music at least.
Yeah. Well, Atlantis is pretty regular about like almost all music that they release, especially
at the same time too. Like Love Live songs get a same day release on iTunes in the US as they do Japan, which is pretty great.
Patrick, what do you think about G Gundam being on Crunchyroll?
Fuck yeah, finally! Hell. I've been wanting to rewatch it for so long that I actually almost bought the Japanese Blu-ray.
Do they have the dub on there? Or
you know what? I haven't checked. I know it went live last night, but I haven't gotten around to watching it yet because I was actually watching some current season stuff, believe it or not, as everything ends up this week pretty much. It's the last week.
Yeah.
But I haven't checked. For me, that's a curious question, but for me, I'm more interested to see which version of the masters they have because in Japan, the Blu-ray, the like redone remastered Blu-ray just dropped like recently.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to buy it, but it was $800.
It's a lot of money.
I still really wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what masters they have. G Gundam has like always been my favorite one because y'all listen to the show. You know I love dumb shit, and as far as dumb shit goes, G Gundam is way up here.
G Gundam is great.
It's a lot of fun. Not only that though. Since we recorded our last one, they picked up Wing. I think they have Endless Waltz. They're going through and getting all of the Gundams that Daisuke I think like had exclusives on.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on there. There's some interesting behind the scenes stuff going on.
Speaking of Gundam, some interesting news came out of Anime Japan in that the next Gundam series after Iron Blooded Orphans is over, which is going to be this week, which is crazy saying because I feel like that show's been running forever, is a follow-up to Gundam Unicorn called Starlight Axis, I want to say. Was it
Starlight or Twilight?
Twilight Axis sounds more. Yeah.
It's actually based on a book. I haven't read it, but it is Universe Century.
Yeah.
So
anything
get your
in
UC
Universal
pants
Century
on.
Is going to be good.
I'm going to need to rewatch Unicorn before that happens. It's been a while since I've seen it. So maybe I'll watch the TV version of Unicorn.
There's going to be some real fucking weird cognitive dissonance happening after watching Iron Blood Orphans because like Iron Blood Orphans could not be more different than Unicorn in pretty much every single way. Also, don't watch the TV version of Unicorn. It's not edited well. Yeah, they like open with the Kshatriya battle. It's really fucking weird.
Why? Wasn't that in like episode 3?
Yeah, I love
the Kshatriya. It's one of my favorite mobile suits.
It is the Kshatriya, like the first Kshatriya battle, overcut with like the scene where what's his name is like getting in the Unicorn Gundam for the first time.
Benaji or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't fucking know. And he like his dad gets like pushed out in like the fire. Yeah.
All right. Guess
like
I'll just watch the OVAs again.
That's like the first scene. Just watch the OVA. Yeah. It's meant to be watched that way. Any more news that you can think of? I think that's probably covers everything that's on the top of my
Yeah, there's some I mean, there was a lot of stuff out of Anime Japan. Nothing that was like super exciting, except for maybe the Yu Yu Hakusho thing. I'm still not sure what that is.
Yeah,
something is happening for the 25th anniversary of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm all about that.
They're doing a thing.
I just finished a rewatch of it like a few months ago when Funimation put it up.
Yeah,
so I'm down for that.
It's a fucking good show. It's a really good show. It's a really good Hakusho, and I'm ready for
I hate you.
Whatever the fuck that is. Isn't there some other like crazy old ass anime thing that's happening? Oh, I might be talking out of my ass.
Nah, there's always that happening.
There's just a lot of sequels happening this year.
We're getting new Macross Frontier stuff. There was a new Cheryl music video, but I don't think that's what you were referring to.
Probably not.
No.
Given my interests.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about anime, I guess?
I thought this was Ono video games.
It fucking has been.
Yeah. Oh, we're 30 minutes in. We got some.
We have some shows. And since the season is ending this weekend, we probably aren't going to have another episode
until we're ready to talk about next season.
Yeah, I think we should talk about what we like this season.
I'm going to get it out of the way because I know you don't have anything to say about this. Kimono Friends, holy shit. I was with everybody else. For once, I was not my anti-populist view where I also dropped at episode 1 because I was like, oh my God, this is miserable. And then a funny thing happened and I noticed it getting... I almost said that and then didn't because I knew I'd get a look from you. And then you just went for it.
You know that this is all about making each other
just hate. Yeah, it's true. That's what I need in my life right now. Not enough of it. But
not enough hate in this world.
Anyway, so Kimono Friends, a funny thing happened. Yes, indeed, on the way to the forum, if Twitter is a forum, because I notice more and more as I check Twitter in the mornings around like episode 3 or 4 of Kimono Friends that a lot of people are tweeting about this, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, there's no way it's good. Like that couldn't be it. I figured it was an ironic thing or something. And I let that go for another couple weeks and just enjoying the fan art because the character designs are really cool. They're really good from the game. Just enjoying that. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should give it a shot. And I tried it again on episode 1 and I still couldn't do it.
Before you continue real quick, I just want to say that basically from here on out, spoilers for any and all.
Oh yeah, for anything this season. Yeah,
this season shows.
So yeah, absolutely. But so I still couldn't make it through episode 1, and somebody said maybe you should just get drunk and do it. So I got drunk and was playing some World of Warships, had it on the other screen, and by the time it hit like episode 3 or 4, I had just started sucking at warships and was completely into the show. And I was just like, when did this happen? How did this happen? Why did this happen? And it is, as Bobda on Twitter put it succinctly, Kimono Friends is better world building than the Fate series. He's like that's obviously supposed to incite discussion. You can't just make a comment like that. Where I'm not going to say it has a better world, but the world building. If
by
is
that
better.
He means that it has any world building,
exactly.
Then yeah, Fate
that's the problem.
Doesn't really have any
Fate doesn't.
World building.
Fate builds its world
about,
purely exposition. Where Kimono Friends has this interesting thing where it's built like a kids show, and it looks like a kids show, and it feels like a kid's slice of life show. But there's this sinister thing happening in the background where humans are fucking extinct. There's a volcano that's going off. Like these animal friends are getting eaten by these crazy things called ceruleans. But meanwhile, the main plot is, I don't know, in this episode, a beaver and a prairie dog work together to make a home.
Is that the episode description from Crunchyroll?
That's what it might as well have been.
I don't know. Two cute animal girls do it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what every episode was. But it was so interesting to see these characters go about their daily life while not so much hinting at, but letting you know that there's something in the background. And finally, at the end of the show, it did get kind of dark in the last 2 episodes, and it was everything everybody had hoped for. And we're more than likely going to get a season 2, and it's like a legitimately good show, which is weird. I know I'm always the first one to jump at kids shows and say I love them, but Kimono Friends, everybody else jumped at too, so I feel a little vindicated.
Yeah,
it was really enjoyable. It was a lot of fun.
It's had some buzz marketing happening on Annie Twitter.
Here's the thing though. It was an incredible effort more than anything. It started development 5 days before, or five that would be incredible. 500 days before going or before starting airing, while the mobile game that it was based on was still going. And in fact, the mobile game got end of service like a month before the show started, and they still went for it because it was a team of 10 people made this. And it was.
It makes me feel a lot better that it was like really successful.
Yeah, well, it did have really, really good writing from a technical standpoint. Like the direction and the layout and the script writing were like pretty awesome. It's just it looked like complete ass, and that's because 10 people made this. It was an underdog story. Like you could tell even from episode 1, even though I hated it and couldn't go through it, like there was something earnest about the show, I guess, and that won me over to begin with, and it just kind of kept going, I guess. Yeah, Kimono Friends, don't sleep on it.
Kimono Friends, anime of the year, 2017.
I don't know if I go that
Clearly.
far, but it's up there for anime of the season for me.
I mean, what
It
could
was really
possibly beat
enjoyable.
that this year?
Nothing next season.
No. Well, you just got yours out of the way.
Yeah.
Let me get my most obvious one out of the way, and that is
Rakugo.
Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju.
Rakugo, got it.
I've had a lot of time to stew in my own juices thinking about the finale of that show.
That was a really good finale.
And yeah, I have no problem in saying that that's probably definitely in my top 10 list, and I would have no problem in saying that at this point it's probably one of the best stories ever told in the medium of anime.
It was really good. I have no complaints with either of those statements.
It is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. It is one of the best dramas in any medium I've ever watched. It's probably one of the best intergenerational tales I've ever watched. It has some of the best ensemble of characters I've ever seen. It has some of the best voice acting I've ever seen in anime. It has some of the best music I've ever seen in anime.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bad about the show.
No, I mean there's literally one thing that I would nitpick, and it's more a moral thing. And I guess I said spoilers before this, so I guess I should get into it. But the weird reveal in the last episode that what's his name? Fucking
The son?
yeah, the son could actually be Kikuhiko's child.
That's what I thought it was at first. I was just like, that would be really weird, but there's got to be a reason why she's so secretive, and it wouldn't have been surprising. It does make me feel icky, but there was some weird shit going on there.
Yeah, I felt that was an unnecessary additive to what was already
At least they left it open and we don't know
interesting
for sure.
relationship. Yeah, like I don't know.
That's almost like a new Usagi drop level of why would you do that?
Like I understand that they're trying to portray because one of the and for those of you that frequent our website, I by the end of this week I'm going to have a pretty detailed write up on that show and like a lot of just kind of a breakdown and analysis of like what I feel the show was about and my takeaway in a lot of ways. But one of the things I'm going to talk about is the fact that this show has despite the fact that a lot of fucked up shit happens in the show. I think one of the most positive messages that you can take away from it is the idea that no matter how dysfunctional the family, there's still the potential to succeed and live a happy life. And at the point that the last episode aired, Yota and Konatsu and that whole family unit fucked up as hell. Made it work. Yeah, like it was really screwed up. It was a weird. Everyone had weird intermingling relationships. Nothing was traditional.
I guess my thing with the possibility that Shinosuke, was that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Because I failed to realize this because like everyone in the show has like 6 different fucking names and it's impossible to keep track of. Shinosuke was Sukeroku's original first name, and that's why they named him Shinosuke.
My thing with that possibly being Kikuhiko's kid is that relationship between Kiku and Konatsu was already plenty complex without that being thrown in.
Yeah, it was a complex relationship, and it was also constantly evolving. Like it changed a lot by the end of the show when I think Konatsu had a series of revelations about just why he took her in. And it's weird because like the one positive thing I can say about that is that it is a final reminder that Kikuhiko was legitimately not a good person. And for us not to idolize him. And it might be, another message of the show, just like not to idolize people, because, at the end of if the second to last episode was the last episode, then Kikuhiko might as well have a giant marble statue made out of him and like put on the highest hilltop, because like the entire last episode was about how he led this long, fulfilled, healthy life. And then, he's finally crossing the basically the Japanese version of the river Styx, and he has a full bag of coinage to basically go and spend in his afterlife and be happy. And you know, like that sort of like weird juxtaposition of morality where you have, you know, him and Sukeroku and Miyokichi finally together, and you finally see like the difference between their lives. And, you know, even in the afterlife, it's keeping a distance between them in a way. Like part of me is like kind of, I'm like, okay, like this serves as a final reminder that like Kikuhiko was a flawed person, was a fucked up person.
Yep.
And it was a reminder that was given to us in the endings of both cores, because like in the episode where we finally see Sukeroku and Miyokichi's death, you know, there's that scene where he like seduces Miyokichi in the room and like licks tears off her face like a fucking psychopath. Like
he had some issues.
He was a fucked up guy, and like everyone in that show is fucked up in their own ways,
except for my boy Matsuda.
Well, yeah.
Best
Matsuda's
character.
pure. I also think Yotaro is actually like a remarkably.
But we also don't know anything about his actual life in the.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that he's supposed to be.
No, he moved on.
He's supposed to be a challenging moral center for the viewer, because you know he is the true main character of that show. So much of the second season is portrayed through him, but also like, you know, he's very similar to Kikuhiko in the first season in that like everyone around him's morality is bounced off of him. And he kind of has to persevere. And I think the best juxtaposition happens in that show when you see how Kikuhiko and Yotaro live their respective lives and how different they are. Because Yotaro basically makes, like, once he begins his atonement phase, he basically makes every good decision that you could possibly make as like a father and a husband, and you know, maybe not as like a Rakugo performer, but like it certainly paid off for him in the end, to where like you see that he has led this long fulfilled life, and he's got a great family. They've met with a lot of success.
Somehow worked.
Yeah, it somehow worked, and that's a really great moral. But there's just like there's so much to pick apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I'm really sad to see it go, because it has legitimately been my utmost pleasure to watch this show, and like it's been one of those shows where like I've literally wanted to like I wanted to like meet the people that worked on it and like give them a hug or shake their hand, because I think it really just is one of the most emotionally poignant. It's like a story of the ages. Like it really is a fucking national treasure for Japan. Like I'm jealous of it.
It's gonna have a long shelf life.
I hope so. Like it's like it's part of me is sad that it is not more popular than it is, and then part of me realizes, like the more rational part of me realizes, that the story that Rakugo Shinju tells is not the thing that most people are coming to anime to get. And I understand that.
Completely timeless though. Like you can attract a different crowd with it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You really do.
Not all
like,
anime needs to be all caps anime.
Yeah, and especially as like a Western anime fan, you really do have to be like a pretty big fan of the genre and like all of its complexities to be a big fan of Rakugo Shinju, because it is, you know, it's another one of those shows that like maybe didn't really need to be an anime, but I'm very glad it did.
It would have made a pretty great drama too.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the things that they did with direction, especially like the
all the Shinigami stuff.
Yeah, all the creative stuff they did when showing the stories being told, I feel like that definitely suited a lot more to anime, and it definitely like justified its
absolutely
its existence as anime. So I'm sad to see it go, but yeah, that show. God, I just hope it receives a Western release somehow. I really want to buy that show. Like, I want to give them as much money as I possibly can for making that thing, because it really is.
Hopefully, Sentai or somebody will pick it up.
Yeah, I feel like that would be.
That's a tough sell, though.
I feel like that would be them, if anyone, because Sentai kind of just fucking throws everything at a wall and sees what sticks.
Yeah, they pick up all the shit they can.
Maybe even Discotech could do it. That actually might work a lot better for them.
Yeah,
because they do weird esoteric shit that nobody buys.
Most of their esoteric pickups are old, though.
I know. I feel like this would work.
So, see it in like 15 years when Blu-ray is dead.
Yeah.
We're on to Green Ray.
Oh, maybe Green Ray.
It's the next step.
Red Ray.
It's the next
Red
step on
Shift.
Welcome
to Red Shift.
That'll be Sony again.
And then we go back to Blue Shift, and it's just Half-Life.
When's the Ultraviolet?
Oh, you mean that awesome vampire movie with Mila Jovovich?
Don't do that.
Don't do what? Watch a great movie? The movie's great. The movie's great. It gave me cancer.
It's so good, it'll give you cancer.
Yep. It looks like cancer. Like it looks.
Does, yeah.
It is called ultraviolet because it's just shooting ultraviolet light into your fucking eyes.
This is mostly unrelated to absolutely everything, but the Japanese word for cancer is great. It's just gone. Because it doesn't sound like a Japanese word, and whenever you hear it in a sentence, it just like slaps you in the face because gone is so ineloquent and it doesn't flow. It's got like a guttural stop at the beginning.
We probably should stop talking about this.
I'm just saying,
we're gonna get
word.
shit.
It's gone.
We're gonna get some mad emails. Just kidding. We don't get any emails.
Hey. onoanime@gmail.com.
Yeah, onoanime@gmail.com. Email us. Anyway,
good plug. What else aired?
Kobayashi-san chi no Meido Dragon. Kobayashi-san chi no Nudo Dragon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all of the puns that they made in that one. Like
Total gone.
Yeah. Oh, gross.
If we're going to Japanese, we got to talk about that.
That show's great.
Yeah. What a beautiful dragon family.
That show is pure.
There was one thing I was surprised about. Speaking from the manga standpoint, there's actually another like child dragon character that they just didn't introduce. Her name is like Iruru, I think.
Were they like supposed to have introduced her by now?
They could have. Like some of the scenes that were adapted were from after her introduction in the show, but they didn't. They didn't do her actual introduction, which is probably just
Maybe
as well.
They just felt like it would be too much.
If you thought Kana was a sexualized lolly character, then you got another thing coming, which is probably why they didn't do it.
I am glad that they didn't. Then that's good because
she's got a strike witch's panties thing going on. So
yeah, let's not engage.
She's an interesting character though because she's a sort of like how Elma is Toru's foil. Iluru was kind of Kana's foil. She's from the opposite faction. Yeah,
it's hard to remember that Kana and Toru are both from like the evil dragon faction.
Yeah, it was weird.
Lukoa is just like a god, a fallen god.
Yeah.
With big old titties.
Big old anime
I just love that has just become a running theme is that she just never wears something that doesn't show off her giant boobs.
It's a thing. Some people are like that in real life. I feel very much that out of all the anime this season, I think Kobayashi-san's Maid Dragon is probably the closest reflection of real life. Yeah. That's a lie.
No, it's true.
It was really great, though, in the way they demonstrate the family dynamic. And, of course, it being like a lesbian relationship, too. Mm-hmm. They never like come out and say
a begrudging
it just is.
Lesbian relationship.
Yeah, if you can call it that. It is something refreshing. And just like the family dynamic in that is not something that anime generally does well. And they know the
It was wonderful. It made me feel very warm inside. It made me feel like sitting next to a roaring fire with a Hearth, yeah. Which Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Playing Hearthstone next to a fire.
I know video games.
It was a good show. I wish Kiwani would do more stuff like that. I feel like
Violet Evergreen.
Yeah.
That's soon. That'll be another tearjerker.
That's probably going to be pretty different than.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying it's not going to be. Kiwani doesn't have really a thing anymore.
Yeah, I know. They just kind of do. They just
their thing is making good stuff. Yeah, that's their thing. Like even Phantom World was pretty good.
Whatever they do, the show was decidedly different from that. Like in terms of like design, in terms of like the way that it's animated and the way that it's presented, even like the colors used was a decidedly different. Albeit not that different, but different enough to where you can definitely notice it. And it felt like Nichijou. It felt like something
the colors and
much older. But then again, Nichijou feels like something that was made like last year.
Yeah, I think it was like 2012 too.
It's just like the animation in that fucking thing is just so goddamn good that it just feels like it could have come out yesterday.
Yeah. The animation in Nichijou is timeless, like just the way they do the designs.
Yeah.
Kobayashi-san was really good. That was definitely a show that I looked forward to every week because I knew it would be good. But at the same time, it wasn't one that made me whip out my phone at lunch or work and be like, oh, I need to watch this.
Yeah, it's like... I don't know. It also got a lot more popular than I thought it would, but then I maybe underestimated that show.
I just want to say, I called it from like the first PV. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be great. And everybody was like, whatever.
Yeah. I do want to quickly mention Interviews with Monster Girls because that show kind of went out with a whimper, but
The second
again,
to last episode was so much better than the last episode.
Yeah, it was
That
definitely
upsetting.
like a...
We didn't need the beach episode as much as I love Sato Sensei.
Yeah, we can probably have our own episode about
You all right over there, buddy?
I don't know. I just saw some...
I don't know.
Some things I saw some things in that last episode that they made me...
There's one trope that
they
show
made my
did.
jambly bits feel all jambly jambly. I think I'm feeling some of that aphrodisiac effect, Patrick. I think there's a succubus afoot.
I can't. I had some things I was going to say. They aren't podcast appropriate.
Sato Sensei's boobs are incredible.
A wonder of the universe.
They are... And you know why they're incredible? It's because they didn't show them
the entire
time.
Sure, yeah.
They are no different than any other giant pair of jugs in anime. But just the fact that they made such a huge deal about the fact that like she couldn't like whip them out.
Yeah, and then she did.
And it was just mamma mia.
I was about to say before your Jimbly Jambly bits rant is I hope the thirsty succubus sensei trope returns in some other form.
Yes.
That was I really enjoyed that.
In an anime that maybe doesn't involve underage girls.
Well, that's why it was good that it was her and not.
No, I know, but just
because Machi was by far the worst part of that show.
Excuse me?
I thought so.
Excuse me?
Every scene with Machi, I was just
Can you leave?
I mean,
please?
I can, but this is my place. I pay the rent here.
I stole your house.
You stole that?
Stole
You
it.
stole that?
I have the deed.
You have the deed?
Yeah. I have the deed. So get out.
Who is the worst then?
Hikari. By far.
Really? I like Hikari.
She was annoying as shit. I hated her.
Machi made like the entire, like everybody else, it was like cute. Machi made it uncomfortable most times.
Good. That's what I like.
You like uncomfortable?
Look, all I'm saying is that I think Machi as a monster girl challenged the viewer the most in terms of like what
it constitutes,
like logistical things you had to like think about.
It's interesting.
Like, but also she's pretty hot. She's pretty hot.
It was just weird.
Even if she is carrying her own head and her neck is a flame.
That has its own uses, as Hikari points out.
It really like, and I'm not just, let's
just say Kamaket's going to be real good.
I'm a pervert, okay? But I'm not big enough of a pervert to where the first thing when I see a Dulan, I'm just like, man, they could do some weird ass shit in bed if you think about it. But they made you think about it because that was like one of the like topics of conversation. That was like
episode 3. Hikari was like, "Yo,"
and that's an important topic of conversation.
That's the thing.
It's also like a fucking like if you think about it, it's like yeah, holy shit! Like Dulahans could do some weird shit.
Her thing with Takahashi Sensei just made it weird.
She had no personality. I'll give you that. But I thought she was. I liked.
You could have said the same about Yuki, the snow woman, until she had like the bad puns going on. That was great.
They finally gave her something that like
good.
made her like an actual
her like bad
person.
pun stuff was amazing.
Yeah. Overall that show was just like I'd say it was okay. But like it's hard.
It makes you think about things.
It makes you think about things that you don't think about. And I like the idea that they're framing this monster girlism as like a disability.
Life.
Yeah, which is
it was because Japan is not great at dealing with those.
No.
And it was very interesting to see how they tackle things that clearly have a real life analog about like people avoiding talking about a disability versus accepting it. It was an interesting play.
One show that I do also want to really quickly mention, we don't have to dwell on it, but I just want to give it its due, is March Comes In Like a Lion. That fucking show.
I need to catch up.
I am so happy that show is getting a second season because that show is hands down I think it's probably the most underrated show that probably of last year and also this year. Like I don't see anyone ever talking about that show, and I don't know why because it's
slow.
It is, but
it's a slow roll. No, it's good. I know that's part of it. It goes with it.
Yeah, like it is a stop and smell the flowers kind of show. And it is in every frame of painting kind of show. And I
really enjoy it. I just need to sit down and marathon and catch up.
And like, I thought that I would be kind of disappointed that they were like going to move away from like the Three Sisters and like start getting into like some actual shogi shit. Nope. The Lion King tournament was fucking amazing. And Shinichiro Miki's character is probably my favorite character in that show now.
Is that the big boy's brother?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
It's Nikaido's brother. Yeah, he only gets better as the show goes on. You get to see him go to his hometown, and they do like a cute little shogi clinic with the old people, and like
the last one I said they like talked about that a bit, and they were saying, why don't you invite him to the clinic?
Yeah, you get to see some really interesting new characters and also they go to Kyoto, and it might be the most attractive representation of Kyoto I've ever seen in anime. Like they made Kyoto look like it might as well have been fucking Hogwarts. Like they just made it look like the most magical, tantalizingly beautiful place on earth, and it made me really want to go to Kyoto, like really bad.
Next time.
So that show is really good, and if you are a fan of literally any show from Shaft and you haven't seen it, you're a fucking terrible person, and I hate you. Stop listening to his podcast right now. There you have it. Unsubscribe. You aren't allowed to we don't fucking need your listening.
It's good. It's definitely one that I need to catch up on.
It's really
good. Also, Aka, I need to watch that.
That show is really good too. Point. That show ended really well in a very
way, I heard.
It didn't like build up the tension past where it should have for like the style of that show's storytelling. Like, it was just like I said to Kat yesterday in the chat. It was just like everyone looking smug, and the only person that lost was the one person that deserved it. Everyone else, literally everyone else got what they wanted, and that's perfect. That's like the best way for that show. That was
another slow roll show in a good way.
Like literally, there is a part in the end where they do a callback to this district he went to, where everyone's life in this district is devoted, because they're so fucking poor and so out in the middle of nowhere. Everyone's life in this district is devoted just to looking for shit in the ground that's valuable. And as soon as the show ends, and the dude from the wealthiest district that has all the resources gets fucked over, someone finds something in that district and they're just like, yay, we get it now. And I'm just like, this is great. I love this.
Just desserts.
It's just everyone looking smug and being tall, lanky, like clampy spaghetti men. They teased a little bit of gay shit between Gene and Nino, and I'm like 100% about that. Like I didn't think I would be, but the way that they did it was like super classy, and that's like the best word that I can choose to describe that show is classy. Like that show has a lot of class.
That kind of seeped through from episode 1. Even.
It's got a lot of class. It's got a lot of swag.
Like I said when we were talking about it, it kind of feels like Lupin.
Yeah, it's like a very, very, very understated Lupin. Like it's got like a little bit of the design elements of Lupin.
Did you see that GIF of Fujiko hitting the bong?
Yeah.
What was that from?
It's from something called Fujiko Meetings.
Really?
It's who else?
I don't remember that scene.
Who else but Sayo Yamamoto would put weed in her anime? That's like the most.
Could have happened.
Sayo is like one of the only anime creators that just is like has gotten fucking lit on her foreign trips. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That I actually have seen that. I saw that GIF before it was on Reddit and Twitter, but it's hilarious because like I've never seen an animated version of someone ripping a bong like where they're doing every. They didn't show her pull. She had her lips wrapped around it like she was like sucking a dick. Like
that's
it was.
Fujiko.
But hey, it's
a step up.
It's fucking weed in anime, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like not.
That was the most
thing.
surprising thing to me. I was just like, wait, weed in anime?
Until they make a legal drug anime,
fun story about Japan, real quick. This will tell you what I get up to while I'm on my solo trips. In the U.S., somebody does this, and you think of Coke because line, pinky, whole deal. That's actually like shorthand for somebody who wants to go smoke with you.
Dope. What did you find out why that is?
No, because this actually wasn't my last trip. It was several trips ago, and I had no idea what it meant until I asked a Japanese friend later. And it was like, oh, that old guy in the bar just wanted to go out back and smoke with you. And I'm like, damn it. I wish I'd known that. I was about to go do Coke in Japan, but somebody wants to go smoke with you.
I think that I would be like really not about doing that in Japan.
This guy looked like Cheech.
Given the stories I've heard about like what happens to you if you're caught with drugs
in the middle
Japan.
of nowhere. It would have been fine. I was out in Saitama. It would have been great.
Going to the Superdome or whatever the fuck it's called.
No.
Saitama Superdome.
I was hanging out at Lad's Bar. Lads.
I forgot you told me about Lads Bar.
Yeah, I wish I could talk about the music that they play at Lads Bar.
Great name for
LADD out in fucking Saitama.
Dude, I keep trying to remember what the pub was called
close to Saitama.
We ate at in Chiba City after we went to One Fez.
I'm sure I could look it up. I remember what it was.
So crazy.
It was
so weird. Like they brought out like popcorn chicken and gave me fucking chopsticks.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the most cognitive It's like when when you go to a like semi-authentic Italian restaurant and they like bring out the spaghetti and then they make you eat it with chopsticks and it's just like, whoa. Luckily, the one Italian restaurant we went to didn't.
The one in the UDX building. Yeah,
like, silverware, but that's fucking weird.
We should have a cast where we just like talk about random short stories from Japan that we haven't talked about.
Well,
I'm full of them.
One thing that I definitely was thinking, because I took Nick to Dosuko, yeah, the other day, which is a ramen place in our hometown of Tampa, Florida, and I was telling him about that fucking awesome tempura udon place on the first floor of the UDX. That whenever we went in there, they were only playing classic rock.
Yes,
they'd go in there and like sit in Akihabara with like the trains going by. Mm-hmm. Eating tempura udon and listening to fucking Kansas and Leonard Skinner. Yeah. It's like the weirdest, just like clash of cultures.
You remember, we were like halfway between Shinjuku and Shibuya next to the record shop, and we went like down into that place, and the waitress was like scared and spilled shit. What music were they playing? Was it like Rasta? I can't remember.
It was like some sort of reggae, and I also, my favorite thing about that place, because it is the most Japanese restaurant experience I've ever had, was, other than the dude in Kiba that one night, but
we'll tell that one sometime.
They brought out the menu and it literally was just large, small.
I forgot about that.
I was just like, you don't even need to bring this to me. Just give me the big one. But yeah, that poor waitress. I felt so bad.
She was terrified. Her nails were done so pretty too.
I know.
Should have said something.
I also remember when the first night, like right before we went to see that show at Womb, we went to that udon place on the top floor of the UDX, and we walked in, and the guy behind the counter is in the kitchen washing dishes, and he just goes, "Okyaku-sama!" just at the top of his lungs to the waiter.
Oh god,
I was just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, that's how they do. Yelling in restaurants. That's how it goes. Yeah, I almost always start there when I'm with other people because nobody ever wants to like sit down and eat. Everybody's scared.
Actually, shit, that wasn't the UDX. That was at Yodobashi. Fucking Yodobashi. Yeah, shit.
I almost always wind up there because we always go to the department store first when I'm taking people to Akiba, and it's just like the natural progression because there's all sorts of different Japanese food there, and I literally. I've done it 3 times now. I just walk around in a circle, and I'm like, one of you assholes needs to pick something because I've been to most of these places. So just
anybody wants to hear some crazy ass shit that is not us talking about anime stuff in Akihabara. There is a video on YouTube that is like a 30-minute snippet from a Giant Bombcast a long time ago. I think when Ryan was still alive. Where they're talking about the raid, which is apparently a thing that used to happen in like in the 90s and early 2000s before vintage video game merchants caught on to foreigners coming into town, where basically the tradition was, especially if you work for GameSpot, to go to TGS at the Makuhari Messe. In Chiba City, but you stay in Shibuya or Akihabara. And apparently back then, Akihabara was a lot more into
the Moe boom didn't happen until early 2000s.
The video game side of things.
It used to be named Electric City Akihabara.
So apparently the day after TGS would be like everyone's free day, and Akihabara would be from front to back packed with all game journalists and foreign game related people going on raids, which is basically buying a bunch of like Dojin shit, like import games that you couldn't get in the States, and just like cheap ass vintage video games that were like you literally could find them in like a fucking Happy Meal in Japan, but they were worth like hundreds of dollars back home.
Sounds right for
go check that out. I think it's literally just Giant Bombcast The Raids or The Raid, and it literally
like a really
is just
cool
like
story.
It's any time that they go into like their old GameSpot experiences at TGS, because they used to do that every fucking year, which I can't even imagine how amazing that would have been. Like I remember Jeff Gersman talking about one time him and a couple other guys sneaking away from TGS for a couple hours to go to a 7-Eleven and buy a Game Boy Micro. I was just like, that is the most dated story I've ever fucking heard in my life.
I like that.
He was just like, yeah, I got a copy of Bomberman at a fucking 7-Eleven. I was like, this is great.
Bless it.
420, bless it.
So what's anime?
I don't fucking know, man.
We're missing some big ones. I don't want to cheat and look at the chart because we're loosey goosey, but I'm gonna cheat and look at the chart.
I've covered all the ones I want to talk about. I think.
I think
Tanya the Evil. We can talk about that.
I'm not sure if that's over.
Maybe it's not. Yeah, I don't know because I remember like us saying
there's at least one more episode because it ended. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, what else could we say about that show that like we haven't already said? Like it's cool. Our Yuki's doing a good job. Studio nutted real hard on that last episode for animation.
Nutted real hard.
Good.
Gabriel Dropout's good. It was cute.
I drop outed that show.
Boo.
I know. I just couldn't. There's too many moe slice of life shows this season. I couldn't handle it.
It was Doguko though.
I know.
Kimono Friends was really all I really wanted to talk about. Isn't that horrible?
It's pretty bad.
Fuck.
I think we covered most.
I want to talk about Bang Dream because we were talking about games. Bang Dream. Now that they dropped the game literally at the perfect time. Like as soon as the whole band got together in Bang Dream, they dropped the game, which made it really obvious that the whole thing was actually just promotion for the game, which is great. Because if you have access to Japanese apps via a Japanese iTunes account or just knowing how to VPN Google Play Store, pick up Bang Dream because it's a really good rhythm game. That's all I got to say about that. The show is really fun. The characters are great. If you like idle stuff, you'd probably like.
I wish I started that show with the season because I would have seen it all. It
started
the way
late.
Through,
it was like 3 weeks late.
You know, I thought Fuko was going to do that for me, but that show.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic because Bang Dream wound up being better at making a band than Fuka.
Fuka's so fucking bad. Oh my god. I'm so mad that I watched it for as long as I did.
You know what I'm finishing that I haven't even talked about in like 3 months?
What?
Classicaloid.
Oh my god.
I'm still with it.
Oh my god. What even is happening on that show?
Weird shit.
I think there's like probably 2 people still watching that show.
I'm one of them. I'm
it's
both
like
of them.
You and just some fucking like golem creature in his fucking basement.
Listen, Tchaikovsky is great. Tchaikovsky, about halfway through, devolved into actual Tchaikovsky stuck in a little girl's body that wears a bald wig cap and just wants to drink beer all day. That's Tchaikovsky.
I want nothing to do with that.
I want everything to do with that.
That's not
That's
enough.
the difference between you and me. Prepara ended. I'm upset. 140 episodes of looking forward to it every week, and it's gone.
Aren't they like rebooting it or some shit?
Sort of. They actually, I wasn't sure what they were doing, but it's literally just like a direct sequel. They even introduced the new main character at the end of episode 140, and it's next week. There's not even a break. But some of the staff is changing. The production studio
Prepara Sunshine.
A little bit closer. Like they turned into god idols. I'm gonna spoil it because it's Prepara. But like they literally turn into the gods of the Prepara world.
Wait, so like they took the Gundam Unicorn approach?
Yeah,
too.
no, they turned into the kami idols. And and then the last episode ends with the principal of the school saying, yeah, by the way, you're transferring schools. And she goes, Tenko, and the fucking camera pans up, and that was the end of the fucking show. Prepare, everybody. So if anybody wants to join me in watching, what's the new? I think it's Idle Time Prepara is the reboot. It starts, I think, next Friday.
Is it Idle Time?
Yes, it is. Prepara.
That's fucking awesome.
Paradise.
That's just real bad.
No, the show was really good. It was a really sweet ending. The last few episodes were really touching.
I liked what I saw of it, which was the stage play.
The stage play was really great. It was kind of a microcosm of the show. I don't like. It's not just me though. Everybody that has managed to watch it for longer than like.
I don't know how the fuck you have managed to make Prepara a cherished memory of mine, but that is a cherished memory.
You can blame it on me.
That was a bonding experience for the both of us. I feel like.
No, Prepara was something
especially
very, very
like
special.
taking the elevator up to that like
that was funny.
upscale restaurant. And that Japanese kid in the elevator with us, like freaking the fuck out.
He was
and,
so
like,
not
bailing.
about us.
Yeah.
Actually, last time because I went to the musical again. It was really funny because I'm a lot more confident in my Japanese skills now because I've been having a tutor. I was waiting in line. I got there super early, and these women behind me like whispering about the person from overseas coming to see it. I just turned around. I'm like, yeah, there's some Prepara fans in the U.S. too, and they're just like, oh, sugoi. We're just like, yeah, the Gaijin can fucking speak.
Sugoi.
Yeah.
We are very thank you. It's probably racist. That's all right.
That's very similar to what they said. It's just like, I just spoke Japanese. I clearly could eavesdrop on you. Why are you coming back in English?
I don't fucking stand why that is such a common thing.
You know what I started doing this last night? Because I went alone, and part of the reason was I wanted to speak as much Japanese as possible. So I would say something in Japanese.
Especially a fucking foreigner at a fucking pre-para show.
Clearly they know Japanese.
Like maybe they just like really like maybe like the average population even in Tokyo, which you would think that they would like know by now not to talk shit about a foreigner in Japanese in front of them in Tokyo, where there are tons of gaijin that speak Japanese. Like I just like, man, like, dude, there was a fucking AMA the other day, or not an AMA, an Ask Reddit thread.
Yeah,
that was literally just like, it was just like, what is like the craziest thing that has happened to you when like someone
when you could overhear
someone a language and they didn't think they could hear you? It's literally all American people getting shit talked in some other language and being able to understand it. I was just like, I don't understand.
Like, we're
people really
too.
Not like us that much. Like I thought it was just like a stereotype.
For me, most of the time in Japan, it's funny stuff, especially when I let them know that I can understand.
Okay, I did legit though at one fez at least once, like accidentally bump into a Japanese dude because it's so fucking easy to do there. Tight. And I heard him like mutter to his friend Bakugaichi.
Did you really?
I did.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
That's a leprechaun sighting.
He definitely was. I don't understand Japanese like at all, but he was definitely talking shit about me.
That's
and I took like a weird sense of pride.
Yeah, no. I was just you got called a Bakugaishi. Good job.
I'm a Bakugaishi.
That's awesome.
I've made it.
What I started to say is when I was in Japan and I wanted to speak Japanese, so I would do that. Somebody would come back in English. And I would say in French, I don't speak English. It generally worked.
That's the thing I always wonder about is that I really want to see the meeting of two white people from two totally different countries that don't speak primary languages, but both speak Japanese and have
I've seen that at Comic-Cat. It's great.
Have to both speak Japanese.
No, I've seen it at Comic-Cat. It's wonderful. I love it.
I'm starting to think that I don't know if I told this story on the podcast, but one of the experiences, weirdly enough, that I remember most vividly from Japan is when we were at some Mandarake. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say Shibuya.
I went to 3 of them.
Yeah. And the Mandarake is known for actually having like a lot of gaijin Tarento that works there.
Taranto's a bit.
They employ a lot of foreigners. In fact, that's like something that they like actively seek out, I think. So like a white girl was checking me out, and not only did she like refuse to look at me, but she
was
refused.
Was it Animate?
No. Animate was the complete opposite.
Yeah, the Japanese.
Animate was the girl that had studied abroad in Australia and asked me if I wanted a plastic cover for my books in Japanese, and she was and I was just like, and she was just like, "Do you want a plastic cover?" And like perfect English. I was just like, "Oh my god, you speak English! Oh thank God!" And she was just like, "Yeah, I lived in Brisbane for like 10 years," and I was just like, "Oh, okay, oh thank God." I was just like, "Well, your English is a lot better than my Japanese, so let's just do that." Yeah, she this white girl just refused to speak anything but Japanese to me, and I was just like,
sounds like the type of person that would work
super enunciated. I was just like, okay, thank you. Like I made sure that she knew that I was like not a Japanese person, and man, I think it was probably because I was buying porn.
Maybe.
She probably wanted nothing. Rightfully so, wanted nothing.
You're at Mandarake. That's what everybody does. The best one of those
they have
I
more
had
porn
was,
in that store than anything else combined.
The best one of those I had was also in Mandarake, but it was in Akiba, and it's really really tight once you get to like the 7th, 8th floor. They sell tight. Like tokusatsu stuff.
The Mandarake complex.
And I bump into somebody and I'm doing the general thing, just kind of put the head down, sumimasen, and then I see the guy wearing like a fucking like Eagles Michael Vick jersey. I look at it, big black guy. So I just start talking football with him.
That's better than my experience in that exact place where I bumped into an Asian dude and said sumimasen, and he was just like, "You're cool, dude." I was just like, "No, oh no, now I look like a racist."
Yeah, I had on the we're just actually going over. Does that make you racist?
Now, I do remember now that the first words out of my mouth as soon as we left was me grabbing your shoulder and saying, "That does not count as racist."
You're right. That did happen. I love these stories.
I felt
have
like
a
such an
million
asshole.
of them.
Oh my God. He had the smuggest look on his face
bet,
too.
yeah.
So
He
he was
knew
just
exactly what he
fucking.
did.
He was loving
It's
it.
fucking funny when that happens.
You're cool, dude.
I had something similar happen to me on my flight to Japan last time. Like I said, from the get go, I wanted to speak Japanese, and I'm in line getting ready to get on the flight. I look behind me, and there's a guy playing Fate Grand Order on his phone, an Asian guy, and I just say I don't use English or Japanese. Just go Grand Order, and he's like, "Oh, do you play Grand Order?" I'm just like,
"Oh shit."
So not what I expected, but hey, made a new friend on the flight, so
Nice.
that was cool. Wound up sitting close to me.
Nice. Yeah, it is true what they say about Tokyo. You really only have to look helpless for a couple minutes, and then
Somebody will help. Somebody will absolutely
Yeah.
help. It's cool.
Even if they don't speak English.
They'll still try.
Yeah. Luckily, pretty much every cashier I checked out over there spoke at least a little English. Although, fucking my girl, what was her name?
The fucking Puma store?
No. Oh, well, that was my other girl. You're right. She was.
I should have spoken more to her.
My girl Mika at the skewer shop. Oh
God.
dude. She was the shit, man. She was like a little Yankee going on.
Yeah.
I was looking helpless, and she was just like, "Yo, you want some chicken or some beef?" Like with an accent. I was like, "Oh shit, my girl Mika here. She's got a little tune on her." I was like I came away from that. I was like, I really like Mika. I want to know Mika more. I was like, she's probably like a Bozo Soku leader on the weekends or something.
When we went to Womb, there was it was like half English speakers. Well, the first time I went to Womb was actually...
That was the most fun experience. Yeah. That was the best possible first introductory experience to Japan.
Welcome to clubbing in Japan.
Like you being basically like, all right, well, we don't expect to speak any English in here, and walk in and the girl behind the counter is like, "Sup, dudes," or something like that.
Yeah. Like
she's like yelling to the other. Yeah, she was like yelling to the other Japanese dudes in English as a courtesy to us. Yeah. I was just like, that's super like cool of her.
Womb is great. But when I first went to Womb about 4.5 years before that,
it was not like that.
I didn't speak any Japanese then. I wasn't even sure if I was at the right entrance, and I was sitting there. I just kind of like had money in my hand, was looking scared, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And these two white kids pretty much just came up, and were just like, "Hey, you need some help getting in?" That one guy, I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, so much, so badly." I'm like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "I'm from New York. My dad's Japanese, just here for a couple days." I'm just like, all right, cool.
Hey,
this kid just
I'm
showed me
walking
the
here.
ropes. Exactly. It was a good time.
You know, a good cannoli place. I got you.
Cannolis in Japan.
Cannolis in Japan. That's.
I'm sure they got crepes. There's got to be cannolis.
Sure. Their obsession with European sweets knows no bounds. You can if there's a fucking place that you can get Zeppelis in Japan, you can get some goddamn cannolis.
Several every block.
I won't guarantee that they're good cannolis. They probably look like eclairs. They're probably just eclairs and they're labeled cannolis. No. I don't know. Every single person that I know that knows anything about like real pizza, aka gross pizza, always says like, "Oh yeah, Japan's like the best place to get pizza outside of Naples." I was just like, "Well, what if I just
like
want
American pizza.
like gross ass American pizza? I want some fucking New York style."
There's going to be more places there that do it.
The further this world of ours, this terrible world about to be burned down by climate change, getting political on the podcast, the further this world is globalized, the more westernized Tokyo will become in its food tastes.
You know what? We've already exported craft beer, like microbreweries over there. That's
True.
going to be a thing in the last couple of years, which is great.
There is have you been in Noble Rice yet?
I haven't. I need to. Have you been?
They haven't. No, but my mom sent me a picture of their beer selection. They have all Japanese craft beers, like real craft beers.
So Noble Rice is what do they call it? An American style izakaya, I think.
Yeah,
that's like right down the street from me, and I need to do that. That's my next date spot. I think.
Yeah, I was suspicious until I saw that beer menu. I was like, oh shit, this place is like.
I saw the site, and the guy like traveled around Japan for like 10 years and fell in love with the izakaya thing and wanted to go back home and make one.
He knows his shit.
Yeah,
because it's all. Oh fuck! What is it? The last word is it's one of the biggest craft breweries in Japan. It's like something Nest.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. It's like a subsidiary of like an actual like big brewing company.
I know where you're talking about.
But it's like one of the first Japanese craft beer lines, and they have like all of them.
Yeah, I need to go then.
I really.
It's a little pricey, but we should go sometime.
Fucking probably worth it.
Doesn't matter. I used to go to Nikkei all the time. That place was expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for our cast that was kind of about anime.
Japan stories. Featuring Mark and Patrick. Anything else you want to talk about before we head on out of here?
I think we're good. Maybe talk about the next episode is going to be talking about the new season.
Yeah.
Honestly, this episode will probably be up after our season preview. We aren't going to do an official season preview episode, but as always, we'll have our guide up online. Check that out.
Yeah.
Onoanime.moe.
That's definitely the best place to get our hot takes on the upcoming season. Also, keep an eye on the website.
It's kind of confusing. Lots of really good sequels, and pretty much everything that isn't a sequel is a giant fucking question mark.
Yeah. Also, keep an eye on the website because I am definitely going to be putting up that Rakugo story. Also, tossing around another idea that I will speak to you about off air. Anyways, guys, onoanime.moe is the site to check out all the happenings with us. Also, check out youtube.com/onoanime. And I'm actually going to start plugging our VidMe page a lot more, considering how
some of our better videos.
Some of our better videos are definitely on there. It's vid.me/onoanime. That's basically VidMe with a period in the middle of it. /onoanime. Go there to check out our short form video content and obviously video episodes of all the podcasts. If you are an audio only listener, we have some more content in the pipes. Mm-hmm. So look forward to that and get excited for the new season. And any parting words of wisdom, Patrick?
Abayo. No.
Abayo.
There's my parting fucking word of wisdom.
Sorry. I always forget about Abayo.
Never forget about Abayo.
Abayo
it's only
is
the
so
best
good.
farewell. People always say that and then they die.
Dude, the only time I can think about Abayo now is fucking Thunderbolt Fantasy, because that's fucking, what's his name, the main character?
You're right, he does do it.
Shangbo Huan, whatever the fuck his name is. He always said it. Every time he sheathed the sword, he was just like, Abayo, and then someone blew up.
That's what happens every time I say it. It's just off screen.
I'll just edit in a fucking explosion or something at the end of the episode. No, I'm not going to do that. It's too much work.
Bummer.
Anyways, farewell, everybody. Until next time, stay alive. Keep it tight. Keep it right.